Hello everybody, Mike, aka the Magico13, here with episode 6 of the Kerbal Space Program Out of This World series. So, as you will remember from last time, we set up a remote tech network and a science station, specifically a station science station. And in this episode, we are going to send up our third crew member to that station, because Station Science requires 3 crew members inside in order to actually do science. And also attached to this is one of the plant lab modules, because they don't just produce science automatically, they have to do experiments. So you have to actually dock the experiments to the station, and then they do all their work, and 2 days later, roughly, they are done, and we get some tasty, tasty science. So yes, so this is just the plant lab and one more crew member. He will stay here docked to the station until the science is done, and then he will come back down on this ship, or someone else will come back down on this ship, try to switch out the crew some, and then when we recover the science, we will be really, really happy, because station science is worth quite a bit. So yes, the other thing I want to possibly get done this episode is maybe mess around with trying to get some of the other science that's hanging out on Kerbin. Like, I don't know if you know this, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you now, obviously. There is a lot of science available right around the Kerbal Space Center, because the launch pad, the runway, just KSC in general, there's the water, there's the coast, there's the mountains, there's the highlands, the grasslands, and at one point in time, I actually found a tiny patch of tundra. I really don't know how the tundra got there, but I did actually find some tundra near KSC. So yeah, there's opportunities for a lot of science near KSC. You just have to either build a plane or a small rocket. So that's something we're going to try to do later after we try to dock with this station, which right now we are setting up a burn for getting an approach of about 1 kilometer, and we're about to do that burn in now. So a couple other things in the news regarding me. Well, I guess it's not really in the news, but so pretty soon we're going to start using a plugin called Kerbal Construction Time, which is a plugin that makes ships take time to build, because I realized we did a lot of stuff, and I think it's still technically the very first day in the world. Yeah, I think this is still day 1. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Oh yes, now we're running out of electric charge, which I seem to just apparently completely ignore, figuring, oh, we'll be fine. And no, we're not fine. We have absolutely no control. The only reason we stopped spinning is because I time warped. We managed to get a little bit of electric charge back, and then I point the wrong direction, and we run out again. So now we're just going to have to float around a little bit until we can get some electric charge, and I keep spinning this all the wrong directions, but there we go. We finally have the one solar panel actually facing the right direction, because I didn't think to put any batteries on this, which is something we will fix for the next time we send up a lab module. But yes, Kerbal Construction Time is a plugin that makes rockets take time to build. The version that was available at the time, which was the official version, had a lot of issues, especially with TAC Life Support. You couldn't use TAC Life Support with it not for the reason that it would kill you, but because it would fill up your carbon dioxide and your wastewater. Even your waste heat from Interstellar would get full, and that's kind of a problem. So I took it upon myself to fix that, and I did actually fix that. Then I fixed some other bugs, and then I fixed some more bugs, and then the guy contacted me, and boom! Yeah, we were going like 3.5 meters per second just straight into the station, which is not how you want to dock. Yeah, we don't have RCS yet. We won't have RCS for a couple more episodes, I think. So we're trying to do this docking without RCS, which I've done before. It's not super awful. I'm just really, really bad at it. Yeah, so, like I was saying, I keep getting distracted by the video when I'm trying to talk about things not related to the video, which is probably not what you guys want, but I'm still trying to explain this to you. So yeah, now we have these things pointed together. It should be really simple. We should just be able to point it directly at it, thrust up, and just glide in towards it. But yeah, so what I'm trying to tell you is that I am actually now the official developer of Kerbal Construction Time, which is not something I had originally planned. So these videos I might not get a chance to make as many as quickly as I want. I have enough video already recorded, I just haven't edited it yet. But yeah, so most of my last weekend was just spent trying to get a new release of Kerbal Construction Time out with a bunch of improvements that I wanted to make. This weekend is going to be basically basically the same thing. I need to get the build list out, which probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you. Basically, you can add ships to the build list, and then they will be built. Because currently how it works is it puts the ship on the launch pad, drains all the resources, and you have to wait a couple days in order to actually get your resources back. So yes, we are now docked with this station, which is awesome. We did it without RCS, and we ran out of power twice. So yes, so you can see the ship is mostly just the command pod. That thing with the leaf is the lab module, a fuel tank, and then an LV-909. So we're going to transfer this guy over there. The station itself is basically just the lab module with some fuel tanks. I think there's enough fuel in there to deorbit it, but that's about it. Those docking ports, those gigantic docking ports, do not allow for fuel transfer, so we can't actually refuel this at all. Yeah, you'll notice there's 106 out of 1,170 liquid fuel, and a majority of that is actually, I think, in the ship that just got here. So yes, if we start this experiment, then once we get 50 Eurekas, it will be complete. Yes, we have got 134 days worth of life support on here, so we should be fine. That's including our 3 crew. Geoflan, Bob, and Lodorf. I think we just brought up Geoflan. I wasn't actually paying attention. So yes, I'm going to shut down this engine, and that's honestly it for the station. We just have to wait. So now let's try to get some of that science that's available around here. So currently we're on the launch pad. I think I have most of that. So I'm just going to go over here and see if this will count as a different biome. And also, I'm going to show you how to do a proper litho break. Yes, litho breaking, where you use the ground to stop you. So yes, this is crew report from KSC. So KSC is a different biome from the launch pad. And I didn't think to put a solar panel on here, so I can't do any other like crew reports or anything, but we can... Yeah, you get like 7.5 science from that, just from being right here. 3 science for that. So yeah, you can get a bunch of science just from visiting all the different biomes immediately around KSC. Yes, flying is considered a different thing. It's apparently Kerbal Shores. but surface is different. The suit is not, in fact, designed for jogging. There are several more appropriate suits inside, and we found a nickel! Well, if money was implemented, it would have just gone up by a whole 5 cents. So yeah, let's recover him. We got 11.4. We actually have 102 science now, which is enough to actually get something. But let's recover this thing too, and I think that gives us something like 16 actually. So yeah, we're up to 118 science. So we can get plane parts. And then we've got 28 more science, but not enough to get any of these. There's some RCS stuff, that'd be nice. I'm afraid I'm like hitting the microphone. So yeah, let's actually build a plane. So this is what we've got, and since we don't have any landing gear, we're going to take off using launch clamps. And do you guys smell something burning? It seems like those engines are overheating. I have no idea this is happening. Boom. Yeah, those launch clamps were on there, so that's an issue. Let's go back and try to not blow up our engines this time. Switch back to the flight stuff. Try not to do that while we're actually, throttled up. I was talking to you guys about Kerbal construction time. Yeah, basically this weekend I have to do some work on that, so I won't be doing any stuff with videos. Well, that time we didn't blow up the engines, but we still crashed. So we might need a little bit more thrust right at first in order to not run into issues. So here's my solution for that. We tilt it up and we add some basically separatrons to the bottom. And hopefully this will push us fast enough that we can get into the air and then our engines will take over. We'll find out right about now. So we tilt up a lot from those engines and then level off again. And there we go, we're actually flying! Yeah, we got our first... Oh, I blew up the engines again, didn't I? Well, we got our first plane to fly, which is pretty good. I really wish we had landing legs, or landing gear. All we have are these little girders, which, oh look, yay, we actually landed. That went a lot better than I expected. Oh, no, we bounced. Okay, that's more like what I expected. Okay. Don't blow up the engines. I think that should be our new mission. And that wing is just spinning through the ground. Okay, yeah, so we got another flight. This one went fine. Let's see if we can't land over here in these grasslands. I know this isn't IVA, but at this point in time I was getting a little tired, and the girders are gone. The entire rest of the plane is fine, but the girders are gone. No, the rest of the plane's dead. Except the tail. So let's try again. Yeah, we gotta get the grasslands, we gotta get the highlands, the mountains, there's the water, but I'd rather not fly a plane into the water. But let's have a little fun and just kind of get kind of close to these buildings. There's the VAB, the Research and Development Center, the Astronaut Complex. The Mission Control Center will actually have use in 0.24, and we go to land again, we just blow it all up. Landing is really an issue. We really, really need landing gear. So hopefully we can get enough science to actually get landing gear. Yeah, 0.24 looks to be pretty exciting, kind of. Contracts are being added, possibly money. I'm a little confused about how contracts are added without money. That wing is just flopping back and forth. I don't understand this game sometimes. But yeah, better joints. We're using Kerbal joint reinforcement, so that's not really an issue. Asteroids. which will be exciting. Supposedly, I think they're going to be added to the stock game as well. Oh yeah, landing gear. I keep calling them legs. So now we have like a real plane that can take off like on the runway without launch clamps. So yeah, the asteroids, according to the squad cast interview or something like that, are supposedly supposed to be in the stock game as well as the NASA pack. And the NASA thing is a completely separate thing. If you haven't heard about the NASA thing, I guess Squad and NASA are working together to come up with a mission pack where you basically like bring an asteroid into Kerbin's orbit to study it. I'm not entirely sure on all the specifics. You can find more stuff on the forums. But it's pretty cool, honestly. Hello, VAB. Hello, research building. Yeah, flying planes is fun. I'm really bad at it, though. And I don't think there's a single time where I don't end up crashing this plane. No, that's not true. But, so yeah, we're over here in the mountains now, and just flying around a little bit. Figure I might as well have some fun before I try to land somewhere around here, and based on how I've landed in the past, I am not very confident in my ability to land now, so might as well have as much fun as we can. Unfortunately, none of this is worth like any science. I did do some crew reports on the way over here, so I got like crew reports from like flying over the mountains and stuff like that. You can just barely see our shadow. One of these mountains, I wanted to say it was the tallest one, but I don't honestly know, has... Oh, here we go through this little crevice, kind of, and then just pull around. This gets a little too close for comfort, but yeah, we end up being fine, deciding maybe we should land maybe down there. Looks to be a little flatter. We have a drogue chute, which is not what I wanted to put on. I wanted to put a drag chute on. Yeah, this is actually slowing us down too much, so I cut it, and then we just land right, yeah. Not really land, we just explode. And I try to activate my individual parachute, and that doesn't go off at all. So we blew up. So I decide, screw the mountains, I'll go for the highlands. They're a lot flatter. And this time I actually put the right parachutes on, and this time they don't activate. As much as I try, I cannot get them to activate. So we're just kind of bouncing a little bit. This is probably where they would have been really useful, because we could have slowed down a lot faster. But it ends up being fine, and we stop just fine without any issues. And now we can get out and do a little bit of science. However, we still don't have any ladders, so getting back in the plane is gonna be an issue. And I didn't think about that until I had already gotten out. So, yeah, and for whatever reason, I don't really decide to keep those mystery goos. I think I decide that I'm going to use them later, but I can't get back in the plane later, so that's not really useful. I do like that you can get the crew reports or the EVA reports for flying over places just by not touching the ground. So, like, hanging off the side of the cockpit while it's landed, yeah, is totally fine. So yeah, we're going to just remove all this and make sure to put it in here for if we take off later and have to jump out. And I try to get to the back of the plane and just fall through the wing. So, you know, that's kind of awesome. It appears we've actually already been to the Highlands, so we're not actually going to get a whole lot of science. I think we've probably landed here in the past. You guys may remember better than I do. So I'm just trying to put this stuff in the cockpit, but can't get up there. I can't put down the gear at all. Like, this thing, I have no connection, so even if it had a probe, it wouldn't work. So I just recover it all and decide, you know where we can land? The island runway. I have no idea what biome it is. I do now. Hey, look, these parachutes actually decided to deploy this time, which helps a lot. You can see our speed is dropping pretty rapidly. I haven't even activated the brakes, so my speed is just dropping from those parachutes. And now I'm going to see if I can't get into one of those hangars. And if you don't know, the hangar that's closest to the tower actually contains some really old parts from when I hadn't even played the game. These were all pre-.20. I don't remember exactly when. But like the old model for the fuel tanks, the old Mark 1-2 pod, I think it's 1-2. Yeah, there you can see them as I get my wing stuck on the concrete. So yeah, this is about to speed up to 4 times because it's mostly just me messing around and not doing anything correctly and breaking the entire plane. So yeah, you can see as I drive over them, the old parts from before I ever played. Probably before most of you have played. I think I've been playing for a little over 6 months, so yeah, we have no contact with the Space Center, so I had to use the relay network and the satellite dish, which is kind of cool. And I end up just getting stuck in here and having to revert back. So yeah, no more planes for a little while. Next time we will be doing something else. I think Bop again. Until then, I'm Mike. See you all next time.